Hello and welcome to a little, call it an update video, talking about some of the projects I've been working on. So for starters, I've got me a headset, so I'm going to be having an easier time recording, so I'm hoping to get into doing more videos again. Just with all the holidays and trying to work on games and this, that, and the other, I've just not been able to find time to get anything really accomplished video-wise, and let's just be honest here, a bit of laziness as well, which strikes everyone from time to time. So, what I've been working on here, what this is, I've been working a lot on games, and they had a big sale, the RPG Maker, which is the program I like to use to make the games. My style of making things, this suits me to a T. So that's the program I use. I like RPG games, and you can do other stuff with it too. But, you know, that I use it because it suits me very well. And I got the newest one on sale, the MV version of it. So I'm kind of going back and I'm remaking the Adventure of Fuckface, originally Jack to the Future, again. This is going to be the third incarnation. And I'm thinking this time I'm going to rename it yet again, but I want to tone it down just a little bit. Offending people really doesn't bother me because I feel like, nothing I put into it offended me, and I cannot be the police of everyone's brain. But I also acknowledge that some of the language and some of the names and some of the jokes probably were crossing the line a little bit for a lot of people, so I thought I'd tone things down. So I'm thinking I might go with something like The Legend, or The Legendary Adventures of Jack Hoth. Still a bit of a somewhat rude, with the bunny ears there, joke name, but not as aggressively rude as Fuckface. So, as you can see here, you can already see it looks a lot more lush. The graphics are a hell of a lot better. In pretty much in every way, this is going to be a bigger, better, prettier version of the game. You can look at it, just some of this is down to one of the graphics packs I bought. The First Seed material, Town of Small Beginnings, something like that. But it looks lovely. Beautiful, mother beautiful. And, just generally, it's going to look better. Redoing the game gives me a chance to correct some of the mapping mistakes, since Adventure of Fuckface was built on the skeleton. It was the original game was the Jack to the Future. Sorry about that. Jack to the Future, and then I modified it into the Adventure of Fuckface, and now I'm not completely changing everything. A lot of it's still going to be the same jokes. There's going to be a lot of the same stuff in it, but I'm doing better maps to correct mistakes I made, since it was the Jack to the Future was my first game. Expanding on the story, I'm adding in new quests here and there, because I don't want it to be full of side quests and stuff. It's never meant to have been that kind of RPG. It's a comedy RPG, but I wanted to expand some of the story elements and add some new things to it, so I'm going to. And this was my opportunity to just kind of rebuild it from the ground up, keeping all the things that I think worked best from the original versions of the game, or the other two incarnations, change some of the stuff that didn't work as well, tone down some of the more offensive stuff from the last incarnation, and just generally improve it. I think it'll be an improved version. Other projects I'm working on include Town of Beginnings. Just not small beginnings. Let's see. The Citadel of Our Kids. Which this one doesn't really have any mapping done at all. This is still in the development stage, in that a lot of what I'm doing is database work for this one, because the way I came about working on this game, I already knew most of the weapons and the enemies and all that stuff, the stuff that's in the database portion of building the game. I knew I more or less had all that stuff down first, so that's what I've been building up. And I can show you a little bit, like, weapon-wise, there's like almost 300 weapons, 279 weapons in here. And that's basic stuff. Using plugins, there's going to be expansion and upgrade slots in all of the basic weapons. So there's like the basic versions, then there's masterwork and fine versions as well, and they all have different levels of upgradability. There's all kinds of nuanced stuff to this. Well, yeah, nuance isn't a bad word. Like, the different weapons, instead of just, there's like different kinds of weapon damage, like cleaving, piercing, crushing, and slashing damage base. There's armor piercing damage. Then there's different states that, well, there's a lot of them. 64 so far. Some of those are for different spells and specific things, but like the enemies, there's all kinds of different states. Some of them specifically affect demons, some of them affect animated creatures, some of them affect undead, and then there's lots of different elements involved. So there's lots of different variations and combinations, because there's going to be a lot of different classes of enemies in this. There's over 300 enemies in this one. So, I mean, I'm just trying to think of what else I want to say about it. There's 11 characters you can have. They're the first 4 here: Reese, Tannen, Zionist, and Isumi. Those are the core 4 characters that you'll always have in your party. And then there's the other 7 that you can have, up to 2 of them active in the party at any time that you want. Each one has their own little nuances and things. Like Reese is a warrior, so she can learn how to use just about any weapon. Tannen is kind of a jack of all trades, can learn spells, can learn to use just about any weapons, or she can use just about any weapons. Also, as a combat medic, has specific healing abilities. Zionist is mage. Asumi is kind of the classic rogue. Oliva, she's a diabolist, which is a type of magic that basically you spend life force to empower the spells and give them more impact. Zalicio is an ocelot changeling. Sir Rothbench is a Greensland knight paladin, basically. Sazabel Funjoy is a sage of Ubva, a healer. Igitus is a punk. It's a reference. Iggy, the punk, yeah, is a hand-to-hand fighter. Balasuka is a forester, a ranger, basically, and Miliana is a fey swordswoman. And, like I said, they're all going to have their own skills and little twists and turns to what they can do that'll, allow you to kind of do your own thing with your party when you want to. There's going to be lots of randomization in this. Even things like the amount of treasure you'll get from treasure chests, that will be randomized. I'm planning to randomize most of the side quests, so I mean, like a something old school basic, like a kill quest. Kill 10 of the certain enemy. Well, one time it might be one enemy, another time it'll be another enemy. Just light randomization like that all through the game. Some of the storyline-based quests, you'll get different storyline quests. Often it'll depend on your playthrough, because there's going to be branches to the playthrough, and you might do one thing in one area that affects what you can do and can't do in another area. Pardon me. But just randomization all the way through the game, so you can get more play value out of it, replay value, I should say. There's going to be multiple endings, depending on, factors. And I showed you that, there's lots of different enemies. Well, some of them aren't necessarily going to have to be enemies. There's going to be a lot of factions involved in this game, and it's the Citadel of Our Kid, and I don't want to go into all the history in this video. I might do a specific one about some of the backstory to this, the location, and what, some of the history of it. Because it takes place in a setting that I've been working on off and on for years. And I'm not exaggerating. It's probably been 6, 7, 8 years that I've been working on this setting off and on. It's not like I've been slaving over it all that time. It's something I return to and expand on when I have ideas, but there's been a lot of work put into it. And the Citadel is just full of all these factions. Some of them are there because they have nowhere else to go. Some of them are there trying to become more powerful. Some of them are there because they worship our kid, the one who built the thing. Then there's holy orders that come in to battle evil. And, all these different factions that are in this place. Some of them will just automatically be hostile towards the player, the characters, and you, the player, playing the characters. And some of them, if you get on their bad side, they're going to be hostile, but depending on how you interact with them, you can become friendly with them. So, I'm not going to go the full, what is that one game, Undertale, I think it's called, that you can actually play it without killing anything. I prefer a bit more realism, and, a giant spider is never going to be friendly towards you. It's a monstrous creature. It's going to try to eat you. I'm not necessarily having giant spiders in the game. It's just an example. But you know what I mean. A giant spider isn't going to friend you on Facebook. It's going to try to eat you. There's not really a way to avoid that. So, I wanted a bit more of the, stick to some realism, but also give you that ability to use some diplomacy. Other things I've already worked on, I've used a plug-in and built in a jumping mechanic. That's what this was all about, was testing that and making sure it works. There's going to be lock-picking, both mundane from the rogue and enchanted, with kind of like these magic lockbox crystals that Zionist over here is going to be able to disenchant. Spells are going to mostly, you're going to have to find them and learn them for the most part. There's lots of different accessories, I guess you could call them, things you can get. If you've got a bow equipped, you can use a quiver that'll modify your attacks. There's different kinds of regular armor. There's necklace. Yeah, you can have, let's see. Typically a character, weapon, something on the head, body, ring, belt, quiver, and a necklace, depending on what they can equip at any given time. So that, there's going to have a lot of combinations for equipment in this game. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff going on here. And I've also been working on side battle stuff, because MV, this program, has side view battles built into it. And I've been using another plugin, Yanfly. Love his stuff. Or her stuff, their stuff. The Yanfly plugins are just awesome. I've been using that stuff to create some animated skills and spells, and you're going to be getting a lot of neat little things like a flicker spell, and on screen it's actually going to shift around their image. Another similar concept spell, they increase evasion at the core level, but you're actually going to get the images on screen changing as the spell takes a hold. I was really wanting to make it to where if you use a spell, like a buffing spell or something, the shifting thing that increases evasion, by making it so your image or the character's image shifts around and makes it harder to hit them, that you're actually going to see some sort of a shifting around effect on screen. I was keen to have that included. I can show you the side view thing, which I'm also going to be using in the upgrade version of the Jack Hoth game, I guess it'll be. But you can see here a side view. I'll show you some like the skills. Some of the cool stuff. But like I was talking about, you see there, I still need to do some more work on the images themselves. You can see how it's shifting around, makes her look like, woo, magic. You saw him going forward and doing the animated attacks and stuff. That's all thanks to the Yanfly plugins, being able to do things like that. And, yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting into some of the meat and potatoes of this, so I can actually start sharing some of the even cooler stuff I want to do. But the stuff I've got so far is pretty damn cool on its own, and the story's going to be really good. There's going to be some romance and stuff involved, characters being able to develop relationships or not, depending on the paths that you take with your choices through the game, and as the player. And I wanted to really do something kind of in-depth and interesting and a bit special with this one, because the other game I'm working on, The Adventure Aboard Jimmy, I haven't started porting that one over yet, but I'm going to. I'm kind of rebuild that one from scratch too. Most of what I had done on that one was map work, so I'll have to redo the maps pretty much, but that's okay. I like doing the maps, and once you have the initial ideas and stuff down, it's not that hard to get your maps going, so I should be able to get all that done pretty quickly once I get back to doing that one. So, yeah, let me go back to the other game. I can show you Again, going to be having the side view stuff going on here. Another interesting one is in the older versions, you know, you had all these static images, and you saw that with the other game too. Well, another one of Ganfly's badass little plugins allows me to make it to where you have these characters that most of the characters in, you know, Jack the Future Adventure of Fuckface, most of the enemies were more or less human. You know, there's quite a few of the ones that were just these static images that I could have used human, you know, battlers for, and that's what the plug-in, you know, with the tags and everything is going to allow to do, and I'll show you that right quick. So it'll be another, just a little improvement, I think. Make the game a little bit better. So you see here you got 3 different Bruces, and it's the same kind of battlers as the characters themselves. You know, those 2 are the same. There's like 3 different sprites I did for the basic Bruces, and 4 super Bruces. And I haven't done any of the animated attacks there, but Crescent Moon you watch, see, hit point bars. And they'll all have different weapons too with the plug-in. It allows you to put a randomized thing so that they'll have different weapons every time. So that one's got a mace, this one's got a sword. I didn't catch what that one had. So we can take a look at the Super Bruces. A couple of them here. See, 2 different Bruces, Super Bruces. So that's going to be fun. I'm just getting started on working on all the weapons and getting that back in. I haven't really gotten into doing the skills at all yet. And enemies, I'm just kind of doing as I need to. This is what I was talking about, the tags. Get the different Bruces in, but I've already been working on doing the second areas, the Alices, the Janes, the Irises. So there's 3 or 4 or more Jeremys. I think I did like 6 different versions of Jeremy. You know, just to keep it interesting, so you're not battling the exact same image every time. That might be the same stats, but you're going to at least get some different images, some different battlers to go up against. You know, just, I wanted to do little things like that, just to, across the board, I wanted this to be an improved version of the game, and hopefully it will be. I think it will. You know, I'm doing some new states, some of the stuff I'm taking from other games. Just, generally, I wanted to improve it. You know, I changed some of the names. I haven't changed this yet, but I'm going to, and Cutie Cake, and that guy, Titties McBoobs, is sticking around, Sidekick McNobody, Handjob McDougal. For some reason, that just makes me laugh. And I didn't really change the classes. You know, there's a lot of stuff in this that isn't really changing too much. Because, you know, I didn't want to try to reinvent the wheel with this. I just wanted to expand and improve upon what was already there. And like I said before, kind of either adapt or get rid of the stuff that didn't work and replace it with something better. Keep the stuff that I thought was really good and worked, expand upon it, maybe change things up a little bit here and there, so that, you know, people who have played the older versions can play the newer one and not get bored out of their skulls, because it's all exactly the same. It won't be. There's going to be new stuff. Plenty of new stuff. And if nothing else, it's going to look prettier. Much prettier. So that's really what I've been working on. The game-wise, video-wise, you know, that was what I kind of led off with and then went into the game stuff. Videos, I'm already have recorded some AZW stuff. I'm going to start uploading those soon. Probably put some of them up, schedule some of them when I put this video up, and I'm going to be doing some more of that. I don't know about other playthrough stuff, because trying to do playthroughs and work on things and try and keep my mind on exactly what was going on in the playthroughs and all of that stuff, a little bit hard to keep up with everything. You know, especially when I'm trying to work on games and then play games too, you know. The AZW stuff is a little bit easier because I can just kind of watch it and do commentary, you know. I don't have to try and keep the narrative of the game campaign or whatever straight in my head. So, we'll see. But I'm definitely doing more AZW videos, which if you've never seen that at all and you're just watching this for whatever reason, it's a pro wrestling eFed, basically. I use an emulator with the old Nintendo 64 game No Mercy, which I still think is probably the best pro wrestling video game ever made. And it actually has a pretty good AI system built into it, as long as you do some tweaks and things, which I am able to do. And I just have it do matches, and then I do commentary for them. I mean, it's kind of like a, you know, pro wrestling, electronic fed pro wrestling with no scripting involved, really, because I just let it play out most of the time. And that is what it is. I enjoy doing it when I have the chance. So I think that covers everything. I'll leave you there. And yeah, I think that covers all of it that I want to talk about. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.